Welcome back, guys. As you can see, it's backfill day. We had to leave some of the pit open, but we got most of it backfilled this day. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We're building an arched cabin, and it's a little slow going, but we're going. At this point, we are adding some kind of surveyor's tape about a foot above the water line. That way, if anyone starts digging in the future, they'll know before they hit it.
My fancy knot isn't going to do it.
All right. Tape is in. Once we got the water line and part of the house backfilled, it was time to move on to the power trench. This cold front here blew in 2 days ago, and while it was so beautiful to watch the clouds blowing in through the trees, it also brought a lot of wind and a lot of cold weather. So at this point, we were racing to get the power into the trench before the snow comes. So got the trench here for the power line. Mike used a trencher to dig the trench, but it still needed a little bit of cleanup. When all was said and done, I think we dug out half of that trench by hand. At one point, we marked our shovels so we would know what depth we needed to get to. We marked our shovels with China marker. I will be happy if I never have to dig a trench again, but I know that's not realistic. Finally, Mike went to get the backhoe because part of it was just not budging. And then, of course, he could not approach the trench at an angle where he would not be putting the stabilizer on the trench. It was rather frustrating. So we had to drive over the trench, which he was trying to avoid, and then we had to move a bunch of OSB out of the way so that he could get in at an angle that would kind of work. And he got right on the edge of the trench with the stabilizer, but it was close enough that it was just going to have to work. Overkill is just right. Yeah, I'd say he hit 2 feet. And more digging by hand. This was yesterday, by the way. This wrecked me. I probably told Mike no less than a dozen times that I couldn't do anymore, but I kept getting up and trying. We really didn't have much choice because we knew weather was coming in today, so we just had to suck it up and get it done. I was so grateful for the trench work to be done, but then we had to go and stuff the wire into the conduit. I'm pulling, but it ain't moving. It was heavy, it was awkward, it would get hung up in some of the joints. It was a pain in the butt to push this wire through the conduit.
Right, there's some friction in that cluster shit.
Mike Guyver, ladies and gentlemen. Mike is clever enough to hook the wire up to something that isn't going to move to make our lives a little bit easier in this task. We ran out of room using the log splitter, so Mike dragged the wire over to the trailer. But no matter what we did to make our task a little bit easier, it was still really brutal work. The one thing I will say about both Mike and I is we don't give up very easily. So when we're faced with a task like this, we just push and push and push until we get through it.
little swimmingly. Well, about another 30 feet.
I opened up the garden for the deer to come in.
Hey, don't eat all my garlic.
It might get kind of interesting from here. Footing is not great.
No, and my head is.
Yeah.
And finally, it was time to start putting all this conduit together with the wire in it. Oh, that felt good.
Got it. I got it.
And at this point, we're starting to race the sun. We were losing daylight fast.
Look at that. We've got the correct ends in the same spot.
Yay.
Is that sadness to... Oh, crap. Got two female ends or two male
We
ends.
made sure.
Paint some rocks.
Well, we've always wanted to paint rocks. Oh, fuck, now I gotta drag this in this trench.
That'll be less awful. Still not great.
No.
But in the end, of course, we got it into the trench. We had to give it a little help getting into the trench, but it's in the trench, and just in time for snow. And that just about wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I hope you all have a wonderful week and get out there and do the thing. I know you can. Looks like we got the power line into the trench just in the nick of time. That was yesterday.